Hey guys, welcome back to another review, but more specifically, a video game review. Now, today I'm going to be talking about another PlayStation exclusive, although I own a digital copy of it, hence why I don't have, the physical version sitting right next to me. And if you couldn't already tell by the title, I'm going to be reviewing the fourth entry in the Uncharted franchise, Uncharted 4: A Thieves' End. Now, in case you're wondering what exactly Uncharted is, I will explain. Uncharted was developed as a PlayStation exclusive franchise by Naughty Dog. Hence why I have The Last of Us Remastered here, because that was also developed by Naughty Dog. Now, if I could describe Uncharted, it's sort of like a modern day Indiana Jones mixed in with elements of National Treasure and Tomb Raider, but it actually does stand alone really well. Now, for what the actual series is about, we follow Nathan Drake, who is portrayed fantastically by Nolan North, who is a treasure hunter and self-proclaimed descendant of the famous explorer Sir Francis Drake, as he travels all around the world in order to be able to uncover famous historical treasures. Along his adventures, Nathan is joined by a rotating and likable group of supporting characters, such as Nate's mentor and father figure Victor Sullivan, aka Sully, Chloe Fraser, another treasure hunter who serves as another love interest for Nate, and Nate's main love interest in his eventual wife, Elena Fisher. Now, before we go into the actual game itself, I should probably talk about my experience with Uncharted prior to playing the games, and my eventual experience actually playing them. Now, my experience with Uncharted prior to this year was relatively limited. I never knew much about the games, and I didn't own them, even though my family owned a PS3. However, when I heard that apparently that Sony was developing this movie called Uncharted, and I'm like, what's this about? Then I see the fact that it's got Tom Holland to star as Nathan Drake and Mark Wahlberg as Sully, and I'm like, oh, I should probably do some more info on this. And then I discover more about it, and I'm like, this actually sounds kind of interesting. I think I might play these. However, as time went on, I eventually had Uncharted escape my mind, and I became incredibly busy with school and other aspects of my life. Then, back in late April of this year, back when this whole situation we're currently in right now was in its early stages, PlayStation was nice enough to release 2 free games. I'm forgetting what the second game was. I think it might have been, I'm forgetting what exactly it was, but I do remember that the other game they had was Uncharted: The Nathan Drake Collection. And as soon as I saw that was available, I almost instantly downloaded it. For those who don't know, Uncharted: The Nathan Drake Collection is just a remaster of the first 3 games on the PS3 for the PS4. But anyways, so then I also checked PlayStation Plus, because we have that too, and I saw that, because PlayStation Plus is nice enough to release 2 free monthly games, one of the games they were releasing that month was Uncharted 4, so I'm like, I'm not going to pass this opportunity up, so I downloaded it, and I was able to obtain all 4 games in the Uncharted franchise for free and legally. So, yeah, it's pretty cool. So, what did I do with these new games, you asked? I almost immediately forgot about them. Now, I knew I was going to play them at some point. However, I became bogged down with my summer reading assignment, and also I became distracted and preoccupied with other things going on. Like, my family usually has a thing in which every summer we take a trip elsewhere out of town, like a few hours away. So, yeah, obviously there were some things that did get in my way of playing the games. But then, about a month or 2 ago, I decided, you know what, I should probably play the games. So, I started up the Nathan Drake Collection, started and finished Drake's Fortune, and really enjoyed it. I'm going to go into more info about what specifically I did like about the game in a bit. But anyways, so for about a week or 2 afterwards, because I took a lot of time, I took a break from video games. Then I played The Last of Us and beat it, and I'm like, that's from the same developers, I should probably finish Uncharted. So eventually, as June went into July, I was finally able to beat all 3 games on the Nathan Drake Collection and started up Uncharted 4: A Thieves' End. And I'm super glad that I did, because not only is Uncharted 4 one of the best video games I've ever played, it's one of my all-time favorites. No joke. top 5 favorite video games of all time, Uncharted 4 is in there. Now I should also mention really quickly that, before I get more into the actual review of Uncharted 4, I should mention 2 things. One, I am reading off of a script like I did for The Last of Us, hence why I'm looking down constantly, and also why there's a faint glow coming on me. And 2, I'm actually going to be giving you my quick thoughts on the first 3 games in the franchise, starting with Uncharted, Drake's Fortune. Now, I think this was a really great start to the series. I really enjoyed the environments that you traveled in along the game. I really enjoyed the characters and the dynamics that they shared with one each other. I really liked the story where they searched for El Dorado, which turned out to be a golden statue, not a city of gold. I also really enjoyed the supernatural twist, in which it turns out the fact that it's actually a sarcophagus, and those who are exposed to it turn into essentially zombies. Really enjoyed the puzzles and trying to figure them out. And I also really enjoyed the combat. However, the only parts of the game that I did not like were the jet ski levels. My god, the jet ski levels were super difficult to get through, but I was able to beat the game, and aside from a few other moments in which I died quite a few times, I really did enjoy the game. So overall, I would give the game a 9 out of 10. Then we move on to Uncharted 2 Among Thieves. Now, the plot of the game follows Nathan Drake as he teams up with Elena and Chloe as they attempt to find the location of Shambhala, and with it, the Chintamani Stone. Now, what I found most impressive about Among Thieves is that it is able to take everything that was established from the first game and improve upon it. From the elaborate set pieces, to the characters, to the puzzles, to its storytelling and gameplay mechanics, it pretty much took everything that Drake's Fortune built and was able to improve upon it. I mean, it opens with Nathan Drake finding himself on a train in the Himalayas and him attempting to get off of the train as it's dangling down the mountain and slowly beginning to fall. I mean, how much more epic can you get? I mean, it was really cool. Had a lot of fun with Uncharted 2, and once again, I would rate the game a 10 out of 10. Would recommend. It is really fun. Now we move on to Uncharted 3, Drake's Deception. Now, the plot of the game follows Nate and Sully as they attempt to locate a realm of pillars, while also dealing with the efforts of Marlowe, a villain named Marlowe, who is a villain that is tied to both Nate and Sully's past. And I feel like it's important to mention it here, but when Naughty Dog was actually developing the game, they actually split their team into 2. Why, you may ask? Well, the reason being was because they wanted one team to work on Uncharted 3, and they wanted the other to work on The Last of Us. And I think it kind of shows here. Not saying the game is bad, not saying it's bad at all. I just don't think it's really good, but it just kind of feels like they're the exact sort of the same story beats that we've seen previously in the other Uncharted games, but really not much is done differently here. Not only that, but I didn't really find the villain of Marlowe all that interesting or intimidating, but other than that, I still had a really fun time with it. I really do like how some added sequences involve Nate accidentally getting drugged, and him hallucinating, those sections are definitely really fun and very interesting. The characters, they're still always fun to see and have them interact with one another. It still feels good when, you play as Drake and you get to combat enemies. It's just really fun. So overall, I'd give Uncharted 3 Drake's Deception a 9. It is good, but unfortunately, I just feel like the fact that both Drake's Fortune and Among Thieves were slightly better. Now we can finally get to talking about Uncharted 4. First, let's discuss the plot. The plot follows Nathan as he's officially settled down. He's retired from the whole treasure hunting business, and him and Elena are essentially just living normal lives. Well, as normal as you can get for Nathan Drake and Elena Fisher. But then, one day, Nathan is visited by his his older brother Sam, who I should also mention is played incredibly by Troy Baker, who Nate believed died 15 years ago in a Panamanian jail. There, Sam tells Nate that he needs his help in locating the lost treasure of famous pirate James Avery. So Nate decides he's willing to go on one last adventure in order to help his brother, all the while being pursued by the rich and dangerous Rafe Adler and his partner Nadine Ross, who runs the mercenary group Shoreline. Now, right out the gate, the first thing I want to mention about the game is the graphics. Holy cow! These are some of the best looking environments that I've ever seen in a video game. Not just that, but the action set pieces are also fantastic too. From the auction, from sneaking out at night. I should also mention that there are sections of the game where you do play as a younger Nathan Drake. Not teenage Drake in Uncharted 3, but like kid Drake. Like maybe he's almost 10-ish. But yeah, from that to the auction house, to traveling to Madagascar, to traveling to Kings Bay, and then eventually combating Rafe on the burning ship of James Avery. These are packed with just so much detail and so much effort is being put into them that only a group of hardworking animators and designers were able to bring this to life. Plus, the fact that this game came out back in 2016 and looks just as good, if not better, than most video games nowadays is just absolutely mind-blowing to me. Not only that, but the gameplay is still just as fun as it was all the way back in Drake's Fortune. Obviously, there have been some major improvements since the first game, but it still maintains the incredibly fun mechanics of combating enemies, climbing, puzzle solving, and even introduces some fun new mechanics like the optional conversations and the rope feature. Those are all pretty fun too. But at the center of it all, it's the characters in the story have to be good. Because if you don't have a good character or if you don't have good story or good characters, then what's the point? Well, the characters in the story are what I love the most about this game. I love the characters and how everybody involved with the project gave it their all and gave it some incredible performances. From Nolan North as Nathan Drake, to Troy Baker as Sam, to Emily Rose as Elena, and to Richard McGonagle, the voice actor behind Sully. I'm sorry if I butchered your name. Each and every single one of these guys were able to bring these characters to life and pretty much make them who they are. I mean, they've been playing these characters three or four times now at this point, so they pretty much know these characters. And even some of the villains, like Warren Cole as Rafe and Laura Bailey as Nadine. They have understandable motivations and reasons as to why they do what they do. And not only that, but I also love Rafe's motivation, the fact that how you hate him, and the fact that, he was essentially, he was this rich guy that pretty much had everything handed to him on a silver platter, but he wanted to be able to have something that he could claim as his own, in the fact that he wanted to take and have the opportunity to say, I did this. Not my parents. I didn't get this as a hand-me-down. I did this. But I also just love the story here, too. I love how at the center of it all, it's about Nate not trying to find the treasure because of his own self-interest, but it's just simply because he wants to help his brother that he hasn't seen in God knows how long, and thought was dead, mind you. Plus, I also love how there isn't a supernatural twist with the treasure, and that it was actually the greed of the treasure that caused an entire colony of pirates to be wiped out. And when faced with the same treasure, Nate is the only one who's actually level-headed enough to be able to see past it, while Rafe is so consumed by wanting to obtain this treasure that he's willing to kill Nate in a burning pirate ship before he's crushed by the exact same treasure that he was wanting to obtain. And not only that, but I also love the epilogue with Nate and Elena's daughter Cassie discovering her parents' past and having Nate sort of explain their past adventures. It's just so sweet, and I love how this is the perfect and best place that you could end off Nathan Drake's story. So, yeah, I'm going to give Uncharted 4 a perfect 10 out of 10. If I had to rank the Uncharted series, minus Lost Legacy, because I have not played that game, I would rank it 4, 2, 3, 1, and 3. That's how I would rank Uncharted, the game series. Now, Uncharted 4 is without a doubt one of the best video games I've ever played. With an amazing story, likable characters, fun gameplay, incredible environments and set pieces, and everything in between, Uncharted 4 is everything you want in a video game and more. And even if you don't play the video game, it's fun to watch people play. It's really cool. If you're a backseat gamer, then yeah, it's perfectly fine if you watch it because it's almost like watching a movie. In fact, it's probably a lot better than a lot of other movies that Hollywood puts out. So yeah, this concludes my review of Uncharted 4: A Thieves' End. Now, I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I hope you stay tuned for my next video because it's going to take a while to make. Why, you may ask? Well, I just happen to have gotten a new game in the mail today, and, yeah, this one's going to take a while to complete. So, yeah, keep your eyes peeled for when I eventually do my review of The Last of Us Part 2. And in case you're wondering how far along I am in the game, I'm around 4.5 hours in. And the best way to describe it right now for me is the My Emotions quote that Troy said in that one episode of Community. My emotions. My emotions. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed the video. And, as always, you know what? No, we're going to be doing something different. Always remember, sic parvis magna. Greatness from small beginnings.